show tonight, everyone. A lot of things are bothering me. Is America going towards fascism? These vaccine passports. Joe the Tyrant Biden, his criminal cohorts, outlaw bandits running everything. You got to make America think again, everyone. Good show tonight. A couple of people signing in. Give me 1 minute. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Patriot Nation TV. I'm your host, Tim Davis, your New Age Patriot with a 1776 attitude. One man, one opinion. It is April 1st, 2021. This is my first live broadcast on YouTube. And so I'm going to discuss, is America fascism? Are we heading towards fascism? We know it's unconstitutional, but are we heading towards fascism with this thing called vaccine passports? So let me just start off by saying President Biden is reportedly developing a thing called vaccine passports, which will able to be used by businesses to allow admittances only to those who have been vaccinated. Anyone who has been vaccinated with COVID-19 will receive a credential, a passport, or a card. And they will be able to, enter businesses. They'll be able to enter sporting events, musicals, and so on and so on. So I'm going to discuss this. Are we heading towards fascism? I have a guest on, really good friend of mine from years ago, and he's going to give us some information. And right before I bring him on, just let you know he's hiding away in his cave underground bunker. Let's make light of it, guys. You know, it's Thursday night, April 1st, April Fool's Day. Some serious business we got to talk about, but we got to make a light of it. And where are we going to go? And that's the whole thing. And so with that being said, I'm going to bring my guest on. He's been backstage for a while, probably getting annoyed. Oh, here he is. And welcome to Patriot Nation TV, /Diggler. I'm glad to have you on my show. Why don't you give yourself a little introduction?
Hey, how you doing, guys? It's great to be here. Good to see you again. I enjoy watching your shows. I know this is the first one you're doing live, but I've been, trying to keep up with the good message you've been preaching to everyone. And I hope everyone out there has been listening because you have a lot of good things to say, a lot of good information that a lot of people don't always get because they watch the wrong networks. So it's just really good to be here, and any way I can help, I'm here to contribute.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Anytime, man.
So, I'm sure you heard my opening dialogue talking about President Biden and his criminal cohorts. And I have a problem. And this vaccine passports that are going on. So I'm sure you heard my opening dialogue where he's going to make a private public partnership with private business owners. To me, that's fascism. That's what the definition of fascism is private public partnerships, where they're going to develop a vaccine passport. And it's going to allow people who have the passport to go into, have admittances to go to activities such, like I said, sporting events, musicals, Broadway shows, stuff like that. So, but before I get any further, I just want to say one man, one opinion, like I always say. And I believe our nation is under the sway of a lying spirit, an evil spirit, with and in a single voice, which is tyranny. So with that being said, let's get the show going on. What's your opinion about this vaccine passports that's being proposed?
Man, I've just been hiding away in my man cave and everything, watching and observing over the last 15 or 16 months, everything, after the pandemic occurred and everything that happened before the election and after the election. Lots of things seem to be very methodical. The Democrats, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, the Democrats definitely capitalized on the fact that they could use those mail-in ballots to get in. And once they got in, they've been creating different narratives. And now there's a narrative they're trying to create by using these passports, these vaccination passports. So I believe that they're trying to keep track of everyone. And that you're right as far as the country heading towards fascism, because we might already be there. And if we're not, we're definitely headed. We're in a beeline to get there, because they're trying to get everybody in line to what they want us to do. And if you're not in line, you're out of line. And if you're out of line, you're not going to be reaping any benefits at all. You're not going to be able to enter a store, a concert, a sporting event. God knows what other events they're going to have. If they have Hollywood and a lot of people on their side over there buying into this, then the other people out there that don't buy into it and don't want to have their privacy infiltrated anymore, are going to have to make some serious decisions. So I think we're headed in the wrong direction. I think that people need to start opening their minds and getting together with other people like you and I are doing here today. Need to start talking about the direction of the country and where they think it's going and what they're going to do about it. In other words, America needs to start using their thinking caps. They need to start thinking again.
That's basically. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. That's my whole point of my show. It's it's
So
basically to
April 1st.
make America think again. Make America
This
think
is
again.
April 1st, and there's nothing fucking. Excuse my language, guys. There's no joke.
No,
Joke,
absolutely
there's
not.
no fooling around with what's going on out there, and people really need to think, bro. Just I'm gonna let you roll on with another question, but that's how I really feel strongly about it, and I also feel like we're not very, very religious people, but we do believe in God and good, and if there's good, then there's evil out there, and if there's evil, we're seeing it and we're feeling it, and some people on the other side of us that don't think like us, that aren't like-minded, I believe the evil is coming from there, and if you believe in the end times, this vaccination passport could be somewhat of a sign or a signal, like that number of the beast that they want to plant on everybody.
It's preparing everybody. It's conditioning everybody to conform to it.
Exactly.
So what the thing I have is, like, I do a lot of research. I'd like to read a lot. And the reason I'm saying fascism, because during the Nuremberg trials of 1947, I mean, you can Google it. You can look it up. It's the Nuremberg Code of 1947. They basically, what's going on with a lot of what was his name? Dr. Mengele, Dr. Death, and all those guys that got killed. They during the Nuremberg trials, they came up with stuff where you can't you can't experiment on people with fake vaccinations that aren't approved by states or government approval, like ours is the FDA. So all these vaccines have not been approved, and you can't experiment with unapproved vaccinations and stuff like that. Before I get any further, I want to say, hey, what's up, Kenneth Winters? I see you just tuned in. Thank you for joining the show. Give a nice shout out there. He says hi to YouTube, Dom Digler. So a lot of what's going on with these vaccines and passports is, I mean, there's like 10 of them. And I mean, I'm not going to read into every 10 one of them, but if you want to look it up, it's called the Nuremberg Doctrine Trials. And just look it up. And it's all medical research. Why these medical doctors at the time, they were taking the Jews, the gypsies, and they were experimenting on them. So after the Nuremberg trials, when they were found guilty of what they were doing, the international courts, the UN, backed by America, they said you can no longer just experiment on people, give them drugs, give them this, doing that without being approved by that state or that nation and their government. And that's why we have the WHO, the World Health Organization. We have CDC, we have the FDA. So all these vaccines that everybody's just rushing to get, have not been approved by anything. And the thing that bothers me the most is, if you really think about it, how will we know that the vaccines are working? Just think about this for a second. How will we know that they're really working? Well, no, right now we know a survival rate is like 99.7% without vaccines. It's 99.7%. If you have a little medical conditions, diabetes, whatever, now you're down to like 96.7% survival rate. So with the vaccine, what are we going to go to 99.8%? So people are just scared and are rushing to get, and they're posting on like Facebook, social media. Oh, I got my vaccination card, this and that. Like that kind of reminds you like the Star of David on the Jewish people of the Holocaust. Like papers. Where's your papers? And to me, it's a scary, slippery slope we're heading down. And I look at my fellow Americans. I mean, half the people are just blindly following. So the question I got for you is, being that we already know with the CDC, I mean, they're going from 6 feet distance, mask, then no mask, then back to 6 feet distance. Here we are today. Oh, you could be 3 feet away. You still got to wear a mask and get if you got a vaccination or not. But yet there's a 99.7% survival rate without the vaccination. So with the vaccination, what is it going to be, 99.8%? So my whole point is, what do you think about that? Are people just following order because they just want to follow suit? They're sheep just following, or are they really scared? I think American people are scared. And they're scared because, anyway, go ahead. Answer the question. I'm
sorry. Yeah, just before I forget it in my old mind, my old age, but the majority of the people.
First of all, let me just say, Dominic and I know each other for at least 35, 40 years. So shout out to my boy from many, many years ago, So thank you for coming on my show. Thank you for coming on my show. I really appreciate it.
Yes, sir. This man is your next Rush Limbaugh. And if Rush is looking down from the heavens, he sees the true conservative heart and spirit that this man possesses, and the knowledge to be able to carry the torch forward. And we need to get him there. So, Tim, you're going to keep up the good work, and there's going to be a lot of people, I'm sure, joining you down the road. We're going to make this happen.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. As far as what you just talked about, yeah, people are conformists by nature. They tend to conform before they do anything else. They're sheep. They're sheep following the sheep herder, like sheeple instead of people. If a man on CNN says something, and the majority of the people are used to watching CNN for the years that they've been watching it, they're automatically going to believe him because he's in front of a microphone. He's wearing a suit and he's on TV. So I guess that means he's automatically right. So they create their own narrative.
Yes.
CNN has always swayed a little bit towards the left side, but at one point they were reporting news. And in the last several years, they haven't been reporting news. They've been creating their own narrative. They've been supporting only one side, which is the Democratic side. And you can't have that type of bias. You can't fool or try to fool the American people. They have a right to know everything that's going on. And when you start misleading them, just because you've gotten them used to watching your news channel or listening to your radio program, it's almost a crime. It's almost criminal for them to be using people like that. But at the same time, people are people, and they need to be held accountable. Like I said, people need to start thinking. Make America think again, damn it. You know what I mean? They need to get their thinking caps on and start to think for themselves for once in their life. If they've never done it before, it's freaking time now. So
I agree. Make America think again. The funny thing is like I get a lot of feedback on my social media. They think, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist and stuff like that. But to me, I look at it like this. It's not a conspiracy theory for me. Me, one man, one opinion, one voice. That's it. That's just me. I'm not going to take the vaccine. I refuse, regardless. If it costs me my job, if it costs me my career, well, I'm only 4 years away from pension, it's going to be what it is then. Then I got to find a new avenue, a new way of making a living. But I'm not going to be forced into some kind of bogus nonsense. I'm just not going to be forced into believing it. So, but they say, oh, I'm a conspiracy theory believer. But I look at it like this: how is it a conspiracy if I think my immune system is capable of doing the job that it was designed to do? My immune system is designed to fight off viruses. This is a God-given thing. So when I sit there and say, I'm not going to take the vaccination, even though I clean my hands, like you're supposed to. First of all, I don't need a government to tell me I got to wash my hands. Like, if you need somebody to tell you to wash your hands and keep your hygiene clean, coronavirus is your least problem. Like, you got a lot of issues up top in your head. You're not right in the head. So it's not a conspiracy thinking that I believe the vaccinations, like I said, it's not FDA approved. I'm not going to be a lab rat. Like, I don't take the flu shot. I feel healthy. So I just get tired of everybody talking about it, about being conspiracy theories. And like I said in many episodes before, COVID, in my eyes, what COVID is, COVID. I believe it's COVID, control, oppress, victimize, isolate, and divide.
Makes sense.
That's my definition of COVID. COVID, control, oppress, victimize, isolate, and divide.
It's that's pretty damn good, and it's pretty accurate.
And I'll give you an example. Think about it. Just think about this for 1 second. Why can people go to a restaurant and be seated? Once you get seated, you could take your mask off, right? Sit down, take your mask off, start eating. But yet, our kids can't go to school and be seated in a classroom without a mask? I mean, I'm asking for America. Everybody out there that's watching the show or that's going to tune in the show later on, like, I'm asking for America. Think America, make America think again. Why are we allowed to go to restaurants with the mask on, take it off, sit down at a restaurant, eat, but we can't allow our kids to go to classrooms to sit down without a mask? That's ludicrous in my eyes. Like, what do you think about that?
I think that they've created, again, it's a narrative that they've created where they'll keep certain businesses open throughout. They've kept certain businesses open, big corporations open throughout this mess, and they've allowed small businesses that don't maybe aren't going to be contributing politically big amounts of money to them in the future, and they've let them go down. They're bailing out teachers' unions. The teachers are not. Look, you're not going to get affected by or infected or affected by young children. The rate of them dying is so minute. The rate of them spreading it is minute. So for a teacher to be, nervous of that, that would be the last thing I'd be worried about. I'd be more worried about going into Walmart when we did this in the very beginning, and people were right next to each other. I'd be more worried about all the people that were going in and out of Walmart in the very beginning of possibly catching it, even though you were 6 feet apart. The possibility still existed every time you left your home. So there's a lot of hypocrisy, like usual, with when a government gets to decide and dictate what goes on during a national pandemic or a world pandemic. They get to control the narrative the way they want to control the narrative.
Sure, and absolutely.
They start treating us like guinea pigs. They start creating divisions. I don't want to go kind of off topic here of what we were talking about tonight, but they start creating divisions and lines of the sand. When we were back in high school, we got along with everybody. Everybody had groups. And in my group particularly, I had Black people and Filipino people and Irish people and Jewish people, Italian Americans. We had everybody in our group.
Absolutely,
and we listened to all kinds of music and had parties when the families would go away. And we had the best of the best of the best times. Rock bands at parties when the parents would go away to Europe for a week. And we would just party and get down. And there was no color barrier for us.
Absolutely.
Got together and we hung out and had a great time. And the government never created a division in the sand, and they never created a racial narrative that they're creating now. The only racist thing that's going on right now is between the government. Black people and white people inherently don't hate each other. We don't. We get along.
We don't.
But when the government starts creating the narrative that white people who, let's say, voted for Trump are just naturally racist, that's completely ludicrous. And
Absolutely.
and lots of Black people did vote for Trump. And so what does that mean? They're racist against their own race? I mean, they're just ridiculous. Lots of things that are happening. Again, it all comes down to one thing about people thinking clearly about what's going on and communicating with other like-minded people to say, hey, what do you think about this? We need to start getting together more than ever before and discussing things, because we don't know the nature of what's going to happen in this country. If if the whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, there are going to be lots of changes in this country, and that you may not even like if you're a Democrat. And as far as being a conservative, if you own guns, just remember this: the government are going to be coming for them, and you don't want that. And you're going to
Well,
need to protect
yes.
yourself at one point, at one time. We're going to have to cross this bridge, and I
Well,
know
let
that
me.
they don't want that.
Well, I mean, I don't mean to interrupt you there because you're
No,
making
no
some
problem.
really valid points there.
Thank you.
But let me just piggyback off of two things real quick.
Sure.
You talked about the teachers. It's the teachers' unions, it's the public unions that's destroying everything. Because when you said that teachers are being scared, they're going back to school and this and that, but yet at the same time, just the last 2 days, it's all over the news. And I really don't watch TV, but once in a while I put it on, just to catch up what's going on. But yet in San Diego, all those kids in San Diego, they're sitting home. But the teachers unions are sending the teachers to the borders to give in-person lessons to the immigrants that are behind cages. Like, that's ludicrous. Like, we're spending all this money. The teachers unions won't let the teachers go back to the classrooms to teach their students, American citizen students, but they're going to go to the border. That's a big problem I have.
Wow. Didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
Did not know that, but thank you for that tidbit of information. It kind of sounds to me like they're going with a directive from the government to do that because the government's going to need them as future voters.
Yes. Like in California, in San Diego, it's 100%. Anybody can Google it. You can YouTube. You do whatever you want to do. It's 100% fact that teachers excuse me for a second there. I'm sorry. Teachers are actually in San Diego are going to the border to give in-person lessons to illegal immigrants in cages. But our students our children in San Diego are behind in their house. It's ludicrous. And the other thing I want to talk about when you're talking about how the division, how they're coming for our guns. And actually, I mean, I want to have another live show about the Second Amendment. I mean, obviously I have past videos. I talked about the Second Amendment. I have a lot of short videos leading up to live videos. I was trying to grab an audience. So I'm going to try to do a lot more live shows. And the one thing about the Second Amendment or America, like first of all, let me just say the greatest threat to America right now, the greatest threat to America is
America itself.
Is America itself. Like put it this way. I look at it like this: liberty. We take liberty. Like, people think liberty and freedom are the same thing. Liberty and freedom are not the same thing. Liberty is God's idea. Okay, I'm not going to proselytize, so people have different faiths. But liberty, whether you're a Hindu, Muslim, Christian, or atheist, bottom line is liberty is a God's idea, not man's idea. It's a powerful gift, freedom. It's a very powerful gift, is freedom. And me, you, and a lot of patriots out there, we're not going to bow down to tyranny. I'm not going to bow down to medical tyranny. I'm not going to bow down to passport, vaccine passports. I'm not. Patrick Henry said it the best. Give me liberty or give me death. I am not. Back in Reagan, I was you and I. You're above me. I mean, we had the great Ronald Reagan as our president. So, I rather. I'm not gonna be on my knees.
We had long lines, my man. You remember we were kids and we were going to the gas station with our families. We had those big ass long lines, and we had the hostages in Iran, and we had a weak peanut farmer running our country. Anybody could just do whatever they wanted with them.
Yes, and that's what we have now.
Backwards and do whatever they want.
That's what we have now. And that's what we have now.
That's what we have now, but we didn't have it before.
No, we didn't.
Something very similar to Reagan before. Just before.
So this. I'm just like I said. I mean, we're gonna keep going on with this. I just want to make, like I said, I got to say it again. I just want to, with your help, with other patriots out there, we got to make America think again.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
And with that said, health vaccine passports, Forget what you and I think, even though it violates the Fourth Amendment and the Fifth Amendment. It does. I don't care what anybody says, and it violates your First Amendment. Okay, forced vaccinations violate your First Amendment, for freedom of religion, Fourth Amendment, privacy, because that's what the women use for the abortion. They used
Sure.
for
The right to
privacy,
choose. Absolutely.
right to choose, and it violates your Fifth Amendment. So with that being said, this whole vaccine passports, this health passports, and it breaks the Nuremberg Code. It's going against international law that was created over 80 plus years ago. No, well, it's 47. So what is that? 73 years ago. But it was based on events that took place 80 years ago. So there's nothing new under the sun. We're just repeating history. And that's a scary, scary thing for me.
You do realize that the Democrats are trying to tear down everything. They're just trying to eliminate history. They're trying to eliminate the fact that they were the party of racists. They were the party of slavery. They're trying to tear down statues and everything else. They're trying to tear down the amendments to the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. They want to rewrite everything because they think it was written wrong. It was written fairly for everyone to have freedom in the country, to everyone to be prosperous and capitalize. That's what capitalism is. Capitalize on your willingness to go out and hunt and go out and work for something. And now it's just about one thing and one thing only. It's about control, and they all just want to control us. And this is something that we are going to. You said it today. You said it best. I mentioned it a little bit. You said, "Make America think again." I think that motto is better, so much better than "Make America Great," because we need to think more than anything else now, more than ever before in our history.
Absolutely. And I look at it, like I said, I don't want to proselytize to anybody because that's not my gig. I believe in individualism as opposed to collectivism.
Yes, sir.
But the bottom line is this: what we have right now, I'm gonna say what we have now is an anti-God world system, and it's sinking a ship. Our mission, me and you and other patriots out there, was there 75 million people out there, that our mission is not to salvage the ship. Our mission is to rescue the passengers as the ship goes down. America's going down. So whether it's a Republican, whether it's a Democrat who's running the country, it's going down. America's going down. So us, make America think again, get back to our roots. The Federalist Papers, Anti-Federalist Papers, the Declaration, the Bill of Rights. Our mission no longer, the ship's sinking. It's sinking. So our mission is not to rescue the passenger. Our mission is to rescue the passengers as the ship goes down. It's not to salvage the ship. Let the ship sink because it's going to sink no matter what. So we got to unite, come together, and spread the knowledge and make America think again. That's my take on it. I mean, what do you think about that?
I completely agree 100%. I'm not look, I don't want to sit and lie to you and tell you that I go to church every week, that I read all passages of the Bible. I'm a little bit knowledgeable with the Bible. I don't read it all the time, but I know a little bit about a lot of things. And the Bible is one of them. And I do feel, and like I said, I don't want to be a hypocrite and tell anybody that I'm religious, I'm this, that, and the other thing. I can just tell you this. I've never, and I'm around other like-minded people who agree, I've never, ever felt at any point, any juncture in my lifetime, the feeling of evil that's out there right now. I don't feel like it's Democrat versus Republican. I feel like
evil.
It's good versus evil. And that's a very, very scary thing because evil, we know, are willing to do anything, whatever it takes. And that's really scary in and of itself. How far are they willing to go? Are they Satanists? We know that people, I don't want to sit here and say that people that are Democrats, none of them believe in God. I have no right to say that. I have an opinion of how I feel, what a lot of people on that side in politics are doing, not necessarily the voters. I feel like a lot of people that are in the hierarchy of the Democratic Party are Satanists. It's my opinion. I believe that they're not God-fearing at all. You never, ever ask yourselves, anyone who's listening out there, when's the last time you heard anyone on the Democratic side on television mention anything about God? Yet, And I have nothing against homosexuality, yet they mention homosexuality all the time. They mention transvestites all the time. They mention a lot of things that are very unorthodox to a lot of people and have been for a long time. I don't think there's anything wrong with those things. But when they try to create a narrative to jam it down your throat, it's a very horrible thing, making you think that you have to feel this way about it. I believe that they don't talk about God enough, and it's because I believe they're more on the evil side. I can't prove that they're Satanists, but it sure does feel like we're in a strong battle versus good and evil. And how do we overcome that? Are we deep into the book of the Bible? For anyone out there who reads it, are we deep into the book of Revelations? What do you think, Tim?
Oh, yeah. Yes, like I said, yes, personally, I believe we are deep into the book of Revelations. I believe we're like chapter 12 of Revelations.
Oh man.
That's one man, one opinion.
I'm right there with you.
Chapter 12. But I look at it like this. Because I get it, because I work in obviously I'm from New Yorkistan. With Emperor Cuomo.
Oh yeah. How many sexual allegations does he have right now? About
he's at 10 now.
He's at 10. If that would have happened to a Republican, just one allegation, he would have been out on his ass, right?
Oh, absolutely.
There's no hypocrisy in America, though.
Like I look at New Yorkistan, and then in California, it's Sodom and Gomorrah 2.0. Modern age Sodom and Gomorrah is California. New Yorkistan. I'm going to always say New Yorkistan. I was born and raised in New York. It's a shithole state. I'm going to admit it. It is. I can't wait to get out of here. But the thing is this, when questioning, because I always get accused of being a conspiracy theorist and stuff like that. And I'm not. All I do is either quote the Bible, I quote the founding fathers, I quote the Constitution, and that's all I do. And I just connect the dots. And people are like, oh, you're a radical. I'm like, no, I'm not a radical. I was like, I'm just reading what has been presented to me. We all have access to cell phones. This is like encyclopedia. And the great Patrick Henry, one of the founding fathers, I asked him, how can you predict the future? It's not being flamboyant. It's not knowing what's going to happen in the future. The only way you know what's going to happen in the future is by knowing the past, because history always repeats itself. It goes in a circle. Yes. It's always repeating. So the thing I have is when people say to me, when they're questioning and doubting what's going on, these days, what's going on in these days does not make you anti anything. Like they think, oh, you're anti-Christian, or you're anti-gay, like you said earlier, anti-homosexual, you're anti. No, I'm not. It does not make you anti anything, nor does it make you a conspiracy theorist.
Correct.
Actually, questioning is and should be the place of reason. Nobody reasons anymore. The fact that questioning something has become taboo, and in fact, sends a chill up everybody's spine. Like we're spineless. We don't think. Make America think. So you question people on anything. Ooh, it's taboo. Ooh, you're a radical left winger. Ooh, you're a radical right winger. No, I'm questioning something. I'm questioning. And when I'm questioning these things, like I'll give you an example. I don't want to get off topic, but I'll give you an example. Many people get angry when you tell them the coronavirus or the Chinese virus, whatever. I'm going to say, Chinese virus. Screw it. Let me get trigger off some liberals right now. So many people get angry with me when you tell them the Chinese virus survival rate is 99.8% for children and young adults. One, this is a scientific fact. Okay. Two, this is a very good scientific fact. You know what I mean? So if reading these scientific facts, if this triggers anger rather than relief, perhaps you liberal, you are the doomsday cultist, not us. Because they say science. So 99.8% of it, of young children and adults, young kids, I mean, it's a scientific fact, is a survival rate. And I mean, I look at it like this. I'm 50 years old. Obviously, you're older than I. So between you and I, we're a century. We're a century of knowledge. We know each other since we're kids. We know each other since we're kids. And we went to the same schools, hung out with the same people, went to the same parties. You know, we hung out. And for I remember Ronald Reagan. I mean, I just remember everything. For this is the first disease that one man, one opinion. I'm sure you will agree with this, but this is the first disease that I have witnessed in my lifetime where masses of people want it to be worse than what it actually is. They're looking for it to be bad. They crave the fear that comes with it. Why? It's so bizarre to me. Why are you craving to be scared of COVID? To control, oppress, victimize, isolate, and divide us. Like, where's the thinking? Make America think again. It's the virus is real, but the propaganda is fake. Fascism 101 is coming to it. It's here, people. It's here. I just, to me, it's just bizarre. I mean, am I making sense? Tell me. I mean, you tell me. I mean, is it making sense to you? I mean, I don't know what to say anymore. I'm like almost lost for words. It's scary.
You say what a lot of people are either afraid to, or probably, if they're not afraid, they just think it to themselves, or they talk amongst, just people that they can confide in. They don't go on social media with it. You're right. But what are we going to do about it? Again, it comes down to people thinking, and after thinking, having meetings, and then after having meetings, doing something about it, because there's strength in numbers, there's strength in, and it gives you more power. The more numbers, the more power. You can't just be the one voice. If you're one voice and people start listening in, and more people start getting together, and we can, I don't want to see create an army. How about let's create an army of thinkers, not an army of fighters. We'll talk about an army of thinkers, because no one wants to fight anybody who lives in this country. We love our country, and we'd like everybody to get along, to be honest with you.
Yes,
absolutely. The government are the only ones that are creating a narrative of hatred and racism. No one else is. The government are trying to destroy the Bill of Rights, freedom of speech. They want to take away amendments. They want to tear everything down for the ultimate state of control, and that's what they are about. We cannot let that happen. There were 75 million people that voted for Trump. Trump's no longer in the picture. They are going to try to create as many things as they can in the the House and the Senate before it gets taken over again. They're going to do whatever they can, but we have a lot of very smart people out there. A lot of people like a Candace Owens, like a DeSantis, like even Trump's daughter,
Charlie Kirk. He's a good guy.
We're talking about,
Ben Shapiro. Absolutely.
People say that women should be in power and they should be thought of just like men. I completely concur and agree with that. If they can do the job, then let's hire them. Well, Candace Owens is in my opinion, she's a young black woman. She chose to be a conservative. She said she wasn't always, but she just decided as she got older, these were her thoughts and her values.
Hey, I don't mean to interrupt. I apologize, but I just want to give it a shout out to James who's tuned in and is like making comments. Tar and feathers, pitchforks. I agree with James. Thank you for tuning in. That made me laugh right there. That thing made me laugh. So you're right. Tar and feathers. It's cheap. Tar's cheap. Feathers are cheap. Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I had to give him a shout out. I mean, he's commenting left and right on my page. So awesome. I got to recognize the guy. Thank you for subscribing, by the way.
There, man.
Yeah. Sure.
Cause I was just talking about people who could possibly, run against the this ugly machine that we're facing right now, and somebody like Candace Owens down the road if she decides to run. She's a young black woman. She's well spoken. She's very smart. She decided. I think she did say that she wasn't always conservative, but a lot of Black American people are coming over to the conservative side. A lot of them have realized and maybe are doing the homework and the research like you do, and they read a lot, and they're saying, you know what, the Democratic Party are trying to hold us down as the black race, and they actually are the party, and we're the party of slavery. And the
Absolutely. Jim
Republicans tried
Crow,
to abolish it, and that's history. That's history.
segregation. Absolutely.
That's the
Absolutely.
party, and they're still doing it. They're still doing it because black people need to rise as a people, and the government wants to keep giving them handouts so they can keep controlling them, and that's not a good thing. So the young black people like Candace Owens out there, or a guy like Leo Terrell who switched over from being a Democrat to being a Republican now, or a conservative, I should say. Leo Terrell was a civil rights lawyer, an activist, I believe. And there's a lot of people that are getting their minds are starting to open. So they don't have the country yet, and they're not going to, because there's
It's
a lot
close,
of people
though.
like
It's
us.
close. We're
It's getting
teetering.
close.
We're teetering.
If
We're
America
teetering.
starts to think again, if they start to think, get on their toes, then we can end this. We can end this bout of tyranny created by one virus, one simple virus. Look what it's done to the friggin' world. Look
It's
what
amazing.
it's done. Look at the amount of control
It's
and
amazing.
fear. It wasn't a gun. It was a virus that has created this amount of just fear of whatever, giving people, and it's done so much more harm than good, man. People home fighting with each other, and mental illnesses, people with cancer that can't go and get treatments. It's just sickening, man. We need to take our country back, get the values back, true good values. People start getting along with each other, black and white. No more narratives of hate and racism. Enough is a fucking enough, man.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm going to give James again. He said this will not be one. This will not be won politically. I agree. Politics is dead. I think we're compromised. Our Supreme Court, everything's compromised from federal, state, local, and villages. It's compromised. We're done. We're banana.
Right, completely.
We're a banana republic. We're a banana republic. And Ken, as Ken Winter said, it's a dress rehearsal for a near-death experience for USA. You're right, Ken. You are 100% right, sir. And like I said, I'm one man, one opinion. I'm going to remain.
Tim, I'm sorry, Tim. Why don't you ask these guys who are following you? What do they think? What do they suggest? Give us a suggestion.
That's a good point, Dom. Everybody that's tuning in, making comments. What do you think's going on? Obviously, you've been paying attention to what's going on with the show.
Where do you want us to go with this? Where do we lead? Where do we go from here?
Yeah, that's a very good question. But so they're typing away now. My whole thing is just listen. I'm just one man, one opinion, one American. NRA. The NRA. I shouldn't even promote them because they totally let me down. But anyway, I'm still whatever. I'm a member. I'm one man, one opinion. I'm unmasked. I'm unmuzzled. I'm unvaccinated, and I'm unafraid. And I will speak the truth. So help me God. And like I said, I don't want to be redundant and repeat myself. But like I said earlier in the show, is liberty. People need to realize, again, not to proselytize, liberty is God's idea, not man's idea, not government's idea. It's a powerful gift, and we aren't going to bow down to tyranny. To defend freedom with right now, all we have right now, because we're teetering. We're teetering. They're coming after our guns. They're coming after our Second Amendment. We know that. So I'm one man, one voice. Thank you for coming on. But to defend freedom we have to defend freedom now with words, or be forced to defend them with our firearms later. I don't want to do that. And we're heading towards that. We got tyrants. We got petty tyrants. Just buffoonery, and it's scary what's going on. And like I said earlier with Patrick Henry, again, not to be redundant, in order to predict the future, that's what these fakes, what do they call the flamboyant people? If you know the past, you know the future, because it always repeats itself, whether it was the Roman Empire, the Greeks, it just keeps repeating over and over and over. We just never, ever, ever learn from it.
And all empires have always fallen as well.
All empires have fallen. But the sad part is the Roman Empire was 1,000 years. The Greeks were like 800 years. the Yin dynasty of China was like about 700 years, 800 years. Dude, America's only 244 years old. Like,
hey, I want to
we're
ask your listener. I want to ask your listeners something, Tim.
sure.
I want to ask them if they're aware that. And I heard this in the grapevine, and I got it from a credible source. I want to ask these guys, and you yourself as well. Did you realize that George Soros and other groups like that with a lot of money were paying people across America $20 an hour? They were putting advertisements in newspapers in some of the cities that were getting rioted and burnt down. They were advertising for criminals that were
Yes,
just getting released from prison to go and riot for $20 an hour. Did you realize that?
absolutely. Yes, I've come across that. With that being said, like, I work in New York City, which is about excuse my language, is a shithole. It really is.
Jungle right now.
It's a jungle. Welcome to the jungle.
Welcome to
I should play it. I should play Welcome to the Jungle for New York City and talk about New York City.
That's why we rolled with it on the show when we came on. I'm telling you.
Yes, there you go. Absolutely, brother.
Times, man.
Absolutely, brother. But so when you and I were younger, well, who was the mayor? Dinkins and Koch. So it was a shithole then. I've been in my union. I'm a construction worker. I've been in my union since 1997, where I was a full-time, member. And so I look at it like this. During the 80s, early 90s, it was a shithole. Prostitution's on all through freaking Times Square. I didn't mean to curse. YouTube, don't censor me for that. Excuse me.
Just say Biden's name 3 times and you'll be added on if you got
yeah. So I seen it growing up as you and I were kids, we're cutting out of school, or you're a senior, I'm a junior, we're hanging out, all of us are going out to the city, hang out and chill, go to Central Park, play chess, whatever we were doing,
whatever, yeah, man.
But it was a shithole. And then as I graduated college, went to South Carolina Gamecocks. Let me give a shout out to my alumni Gamecocks. There you go, baby. As I came out of college, 93 recession, I have a degree in economics. Really wasn't going anywhere because we had a recession going on. And at that time it was called nepotism. I got into a union because of friends' fathers and stuff like that. So here I am all these years later, close to a pension. And so I seen the shithole, and I seen Giuliani take over. I seen it become a beautiful state, beautiful city. Let me rephrase that. And then even the little Napoleon tyrant, what's his name, Bloomberg, he kept New York clean. He kept it safe, and I can't stand Bloomberg.
None of them, but they kept it a lot better than this joke of Blasio. Was just a joke.
So I noticed this is about 5, maybe, 2021, 2020, 2016. That's when the homeless started coming, the heroin addicts. I mean, it's a shithole again. It's a ghost town. It's almost embarrassing. And thank God, God tarries, I got 4 more years and I'm done. I'm leaving the state. It's a complete shithole. Yeah, and if I get censored, this gets whatever. It is what it is. I'm not going to lie.
It is. You're going to go down to a state where your money can last.
Yeah.
You're going to go down to where like-minded people live. You're going to go most likely to a conservative red type of state where you don't have the bureaucracy up your ass. You don't have the people that are just ostracizing you and telling you that you're a conspiracy theorist and a racist and everything else under the sun, when actually you're just a thinker. You're a regular American who's lived here all his life. You deserve to have an opinion because freedom of speech, okay? And they're trying to take that away. They're trying to soften everything and pussify everything in this country right now with giving people. Little Tommy gets a participation trophy, even though little Vinny worked hard to win the championship.
Yes.
You got to give little Tommy and Vinny the same trophies. Otherwise, little Tommy might have a mental breakdown and need a therapeutic dog just to be able to cope for the next 10 years of his life. If this is the way we're getting taught, and this is the way we're also getting taught in our military, then we'll be taken over shortly by a country like Switzerland or whoever. Okay, people that don't even, countries you've never heard of could take us over then. Okay, if that's what we're becoming, because once we become soft, they'll be like, the Americans used to be hard. Well, now they're not hard anymore. And there's nothing hard about us. It's all about soft language, and God forbid you hurt anyone's feelings. God forbid. Oh my! Oh, did you mention God when you said, "Oh my"? Oh my! I don't know what to say. I'm supposed to say the word God.
Yeah,
Oh, give me a break.
right.
Come on, man.
Well,
It's
you know
just,
what you
it's ridiculous.
you know what it is? It's this what do they call it now? Democratic socialism, right? Is that the new term? Democratic socialism? You know, what is democratic socialism? I'll tell you what it is.
Demolishism. I don't know. I call it demolishism. I just
Well, I
made
mean,
that up.
there's so many names for it, but me personally, I'm going to say, you know what, democratic socialism is where everything is free except for you.
Yeah.
Everything's free, but you.
Do as I say, not as I say.
Yeah, yeah.
Like the
It's
California governor, he's like, "Oh, you're gonna be locked down, no beach, no this, no restaurant." But then he's out in the vineyard having dinner with his family, wine and
yeah,
fruit,
yeah.
fruit and
Nancy
wine.
Pelosi getting a haircut. Meanwhile, everybody's sitting home losing money and losing jobs. They give us a measly 600. Well, me personally, I didn't get the stimulus check under Trump or Biden. I'm in that
Yeah,
bracket.
you're in that shitty category. Even though
I
you
got
get
nothing. I got
taxes.
nothing. Zero. Pink. There you go. You get nothing. You work hard at it. It is what it is. But I'm not bitter about it. I'm not bitter about it. Whatever.
Yeah.
It's just we're crossing a crossroads. Like I'm really at the point where like taxation without representation. Why am I like no matter what? Because I'm in a union, so they take money out. It's called a payroll tax and FICA taxes. I'm at the point like I didn't file my taxes in 2020. I could probably get in trouble for saying this, but I really don't care. I'm on a crossroads if I want to pay or not because I got nothing. I got taxation without representation. You already took a lot of money through payroll tax and FICA tax out of my paycheck. Why file? I'm really they extended it to May 25th, May 15th. They extended it, so I'm in the crossroads. I got to pray about it. I got to see. I'm probably going to file, but you just gave me an extra. Like if I had to file like in February, I wouldn't be filing because I think taxation is theft. I have plenty of videos on taxation is theft. Believe me, I do. The 16th minute, I just whatever. If you go look on my page, you see a lot of videos. And the thing is, I have this. This is the issue I have with this entitlement generation, this entitlement mentality. I want to say to people, especially like the younger millennials and the early generation Zs, because the older millennials are kind of like the bottom of our generation. They get it. They get it. They were born in 80, 81, 82 while we were in school. They get what's going on. So I just want to say to like this whole entitlement generation, stop feeling so entitled. All you deserve is life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You do not deserve free tuition, free healthcare, free abortions, free housing, free blah, 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 blah. You don't deserve anything. There is no such thing as free, my little snowflakes. I'm going to call you snowflakes. You little participation trophy generation. There's no such thing as free. Someone is paying for it. That's me. That's you. That's people commenting. I see a lot of comments. We're paying for it. And it's never the politician. Politicians are paying nothing because we pay the politicians. So, like I'm going to say, there is no such thing as free. You deserve nothing. The only thing you deserve is life. Enjoy it. Liberty. Preserve it.
And justice for all. That's it.
Pursuit of happiness. Work for it. And justice for all. Be an individual. Think for yourself. We need to make America think for themselves. One man, one opinion. I mean, what do you think about that? Am I off on that, or is that pretty accurate?
Tim, you came up with a great slogan, I think, for everybody out there. Tim came up with this earlier, and I was right there with him when we actually came up with it together. I think he said it first. It was "Make America Think Again," and I'm like,
yes, sir.
I wrote "Mata," M-A-T-A, Mata.
Yes, you did.
Mata in Latin means kill or to be killed. So imagine that. So it's like your brain cells are being killed if you don't think. Think about the irony of it.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Really, in Latin, mata means
Mata,
okay,
yeah, it's
mata.
the Spanish language and Latin. Mata, mata, is to kill. So I
Interesting.
believe if the people aren't thinking, then their brain cells are just dying away.
Very interesting. Very interesting. No, I learned something new every day. But
So I'm telling you, where do we go from here? We continue to communicate, and we don't stop. We never stop. We never ever stop giving our opinions, and then if we have to go beyond giving an opinion, and the moment ever comes, and I hope it doesn't, because we love the country, and
yes, we do.
what you just said about being a patriot, and about the things that we're entitled to, which are nothing. We're entitled to because God, if you believe in God, whatever the religion may be, then God gives you 2 hands you can work with, and 2 legs, 2 feet you can walk with. And you got to be blessed every day that you have them, because a lot of people don't have them. Young children lose them. And it's sad and horrible to see it. But when you have it, you need to appreciate it and go out and get what you need. You have to hunt and get what you need in this life. Nothing should be given to you. And when you get something on your own, you appreciate it even more anyway. So there's something to be said about that. And the life and the liberty and the pursuit of freedom and justice and happiness
Absolutely.
is one. That is one. And when you go out and you get things on your own, and you're not given these things easily. So these are the things, if we need to fight for them as a country. And I'm not trying to sit here and formulate a militia and say, well, we're going to go out and get them because we're a bunch of racists. No, we're not. We're American people who love America. And we don't want
Don't forget.
We don't want to be cruel to black people or any other people in this country, because we're all Americans. We want to get along with everyone. And we want that side of the government who are in there right now, not Democratic people who voted for them. We want the people in the government right now to stop trying to create a narrative shoving down our throats that we're racists and that black people should hate whites and whites should hate blacks. They are the ones who are creating this, and they need to stop, or we will put a stop to it if we have to down the road.
I agree. And yes, Kenneth Winters, you are right. Every day is a given blessing. Every day I wake up, I thank God. You're 100% right about that.
Absolutely. 100%.
And yes, James, socialism is definitely a sucky situation. And, I'm looking at a time. I mean, we're approaching an hour here. I usually go past my we're going past my usual time frame. And Dom, I would appreciate it. I'm going to do another live podcast on this. I just want to say this. I'm going to talk about the Second Amendment on the next show. And I really would appreciate it if you come on, because I know you're very knowledgeable with the Second Amendment. But we are going on an hour, and I don't want to lose anybody's attention or span or anything like that. But I just want to look at it like this, to move forward into the next show. And if I would really greatly appreciate it if you come on, because, you're very knowledgeable, man. I learn a lot from you. I know you since we're kids.
I learned a lot from you, my friend. I've been following you on Facebook for the last couple of years. It was nice that we finally got a chance to get together and share our knowledge. And, we're segueing on, we're talking about different topics. We're feeding off each other here. I'd be more than happy to come on and do this with you down the road and share whatever any insight that I could possibly give. I would love to, man. And I love hearing everything you got to say. And,
Thank you.
I love rock and roll, man. I just do that. And I love Guns N' Roses. Let me show you guys something out there. Let me show you something out there. I know Larry Davis. Shout out to Larry Davis, one of the best tattoo artists in the world.
There you go. That's my brother. Physical feeding tattoo, Vanguard tattoo, baby. That's my brother.
I don't know if you can see that out there, but I got a Guns N' Roses tattoo out there. And if you can't see it, I'll show it to you on the next show. But I'll tell you what, Larry Davis would have done this exactly the same, if not better. And the next one I'm going to get is Led Zeppelin from Larry Davis.
Yes, brother. I love you.
We're talking about making America think again. MATA, making America think again. And what we're going to do for everybody is play a little communication
breakdown. Little Led Zeppelin, baby. Let's get these young kids. Let's get this young generation up to date.
Communication breakdown, baby. We're having a major one in this country, and we need to think again. So we're going to get a little Zeppelin on there to go along with that. Welcome to the jungle.
Absolutely, sir.
All right, baby. Great show, man. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Listen, so what I'm going to say to you is this. we're gonna have another live show. We're gonna talk about the Second Amendment, and just to give you something to think about. Maybe we'll do it next Thursday. We'll do a show every Thursday. You and I. We'll do a show every Thursday. Get people to tune in and onto it. We'll talk about the Second Amendment, and I'm going to give you something to think about. You have a whole week to think about what's going on, and
that's good to me, man.
Yeah. So look at it like this. This is a little analogy. If you don't have to give up your car, think about it. If you don't have to give up your car because others drink and drive with theirs, then why do you and me and anybody out there have to give up our guns because other people commit crimes with theirs? That's something to think about. You got 6 days. You got 7 days, Diggler, Dominic Diggler. You got 6 days to think about it. Why do we not have to give up our cars because other people drink and drive, but yet we have to give up our guns because other people commit crimes with them? It's something to think about, you know. And I really appreciate you coming on. We are at now an hour and 51 seconds. So I'm going to say thank you for coming on my show. I really do appreciate it. Stay tuned for the backstage. I'm going to end it in about 15 seconds, and we'll move forward. And thank you. So if any last parting words you want to send out to the audience, we have a nice little audience showing. Anything you want to say, please give your last retort.
Hey, listen, anybody that's following this, man, continue to do so. I've learned a lot from him. Without even communicating with each other over the last couple of years. He reads a lot about history. He's very passionate about it. He loves this country 100% unequivocally. And anybody that can, add some insight, like you guys that are listening tonight, we welcome anything that you guys have to say to contribute. And hopefully we're going to be gaining more and more audiences as we go along. Just let's keep up the good fight and be strong. And as long as we are, we're going to win this battle. Have a good night.
All right, Dominic. Thank you. I'll talk to you soon. All right. Okay, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the show. It's my first live show on YouTube. I was going to tune in with Facebook, but nah. Facebook keeps censoring me and putting me in Facebook jail, so screw Facebook. And I really I hope you enjoyed it. Hope everybody learned a little something. And I guess we'll tune in. I'll have another live podcast with Dom the Diggler / Diggler next Thursday. We'll do it at the same time. And we'll talk about the Second Amendment. And then remember, think about it. This passport vaccine is fascism. Fascism. Don't let them force you to do it. So, as I always say, I'm going to end the show. I'm going to say, God bless you. God bless America. I hope everybody has a good night. I'll see you guys soon. Goodbye.